What is up, CSGs? Your Houston Rockets just defeated the big bad Oklahoma City Thunder in a nail-biter, ref crazy, thuggish, ruggish, just brutal, hard-fought game against a team that, for the most part, we've gone back and forth with. Even though OKC has had our number in the last two meetings, we play them pretty evenly, but this new iteration of this team being a one of the best teams in the league, this was a defining victory for the Houston Rockets. We are currently basically tied for first place. We're a half game behind just for the fact that we haven't played as many games as them. But, man, what a game. What a game. Big boy basketball. It was playoff intensity. The crowd was good. This is definitely what you really crave at this time of the year, even though it's early. You want your team to be in meaningful games, and I don't remember the last time we've had this type of meaningful game. The fact that we are playing to be a 1 seed in the West, the fact that we are one of the best teams in the NBA, just amazing. It's good. It is good, man. Rockets basketball is definitely back. Going through the games, I'm just going to go through some of the things that I saw, talking about some of the players. Definitely, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought there was a point where we're going to lose this game, but the Rockets found a way to overcome their own selves in some instances, and this definitely shows growth from this team. This is a different team than we saw last year, and coming into here, you definitely see the maturity in every player is matured from last season, and some of them played really well last season to get to this point. And what a game for Fred VanVleet, 38 points, really drugged the team to this victory. Hit huge shots. Dylan Brooks carried early. Jabari Smith had a hell of a game. Sengun had a hell of a game. Jalen had a good game, not a great game, but he was impactful when he was on the court. And, you know, Tari and the men had a better game. Tari hit some big shots. Reed, you know, a little up and down, but overall he didn't hurt us too bad when he was on the court. Steven Adams assisted the way he could, but hell of a game from Coach Udoka. I think that this is kind of what you signed up for when you sign a coach of his caliber, and he is earning every penny of his contract. But going through the scores, I'm not going to make this too long. I just want to kind of get my thoughts on before the night comes in. I get a little tired because it's hard to record after games like this, especially on Sunday. I've been out doing stuff with family all day. So we'll just start off. We'll start off with Fred VanVleet, 38 points, played 35 minutes, 52% from the field, shot, 55% from three on 9 attempts. Just a great game for him. Only had 0 steals, 0 rebounds. Well, 2 defensive rebounds, 1 turnover, which is always great for him. Drew 7 fouls, man. Just balling. I mean, he was just great for us down the stretch. Only 3 assists, which is low, but he had to score. And this was a game, honestly, if you look at how the game kind of formulated out, it was begging for us to have a perimeter scorer. This was not a game where Sengun was going to score because you're trading. He's going to score, be the one to kind of bucket for bucket. That works in some teams. OKC, y'all know my analogy. We're a running team. They're a team, they can run the ball, but they also can pass it. And the way they play, you're trading a lot of threes and twos for just twos. So I like the way that we figured it out because this game, we need somebody on the perimeter. As great as Sengun is, and he played a hell of a game tonight, his efficiency was not good again. But if you watch the game, it actually was better. He got to the free throw line a lot. But damn, bro turned into Draymond Green. Who knew he'd become such a good defender and become Draymond on offense? But just kidding. But Fred really filled that role of that wing scorer that every good team needs. OKC has the SGA. At the end of the day, if you're going to win games in this league, you need to have a guy from the perimeter that can hit threes, that can get inside the paint, that can pass the ball, that can make shots, make big buckets towards the end of the game. And Fred really stepped up in that aspect of the game tonight. 38 minutes, 38 points in 35 minutes. Just really important games for him. And I'm not, obviously we've probably all traded Fred VanVleet at some point. Or I haven't. I've restructured his contract for a lower salary at some point. But when he puts together games like this, he really does raise the ceiling of the team. And it does kind of ask the question, like, what are you going to do with him going down the stretch? Not this season, but next season. What role does he play? And if this is not obviously 38 points, but if this is a version of him that he's going to present on, a semi-consistent basis where he's able to score 20-plus points, able to facilitate your offense, then, the discussion me and Roosh were having about, do you replace the point guard, the shooting guard position by upgrading at each position? It becomes a lot more kind of fluid, right? Because then if Fred can do this, maybe you do put somebody next to him at the shooting guard position that can score. Because if you watch the game tonight, Jalen was helpful, but he was kind of playing almost a bench role. Like, he was not the primary scorer, not really the primary initiator. I don't know what the Rockets are trying to do with him at this point. It seems like they try to get him going, but the offense just isn't catered to his skill set at this moment. So hopefully we just hope that as he is searching and he's doing right now, that he finds a consistency to then reinsert himself and find and redefine his role. And I think that's what he's trying to do. The thing you want to look at with young players in this position right now, I'm not putting any expectations on him. That's one. Number two, you want him to be able to impact winning in other ways. He's doing that. And we had the same discussion last year. Number three, you want the level of consistency in the way that he's playing, being a positive on the floor to keep going forward. And that's what we're going to watch out to see. And then hopefully at some point he builds upon that to start adding the consistency in scoring, being reliable facilitator, et cetera, et cetera. But as time goes on, you start redefining his role on the team, and that's perfectly fine when you have, to quote Nick Nurse, athlete after athlete after athlete. Like, we're not relying on any one player specifically for the success of the team, especially not on Jalen Green at this moment in time. So with Fred there, he really does fill in a lot of those shoes, especially when Jalen isn't feeling it. If Jalen's feeling it, Fred steps back. That's why he's the perfect vet for this young Rockets team. But great play from him. The big shot from the three from this is the games you miss having Bill Worrell, because I wonder what city would Bill have called that three from. I want y'all to let me know in the chat or in the comment, what city did Fred hit that three from? What obscure town in Texas is that coming out of? That had to be from, like, if Toyota Center is downtown, that got to be from, like, where's far? Conroe, bro. That shot came from where? Baytown, man. That was from Tomba. I don't know. Y'all let me know what city you think Bill would have called that from. But Fred, once again, one of the most consequential signings for the Rockets, including Coach Udoka, transformed the culture. Just all around great game. Moving on to Alperen Sengun, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. Really played more of a fulcrum role. What I mean by fulcrum, a fulcrum is the point where things pivot out of. And I think and Fred has said it in the post game, for Sengun this game, OKC has a way of guarding him that I'm impressed by. They allow him to engage with when he's in a post, and then they all converge. And they're so athletic that once they help, they recover with speed and with under control. So they really take away multiple things at once. They're one of the best teams at closing out. They're good at stopping their feet. They're not just wildly throwing their bodies out. So they're able to be in two spots at once. It's really, really impressive. So it does help a lot of taking away a lot of what the Rockets really beat teams on, which is forcing the issue with Sengun on the interior, then kicking out to shooters. In this game, that's what they focused on. And early on, Sengun tried to force scoring. It wasn't going well. Hardenstein, great defender, great player. Seemed like he could have missed tonight. Really, really good player. And for, a lot of the early game was nasty. I think he started off 1 for 7, but then the game slowed down a bit as we got into our offense. Really at halftime, you saw Ime talking to Sengun like, this is a game where you're gonna have to have like double-digit assists damn near. And if we hit a couple more shots, he might have. But this is a game where he got to hit the glass because they're not a great rebounding team, and then swing the ball. So in the second half, really, when they came in, like he was 20-14 and 9 in the whole game. Shot, let's see, from the field, something nasty, 41%, Draymond Green type numbers. If you look at, let me isolate the second half here for Alp and see what he did in the second half. Let's see, he had 10 rebounds and 14 points. So mostly the game, 14, 10, and 5 in the second half. 14, 10, and 5, went to the free throw line 8 times, shot 6 for 8 from the free throw line, 50% field goal on the game there. much better, 60% true shooting compared to 48 in the whole game. So the second half player that we got from Sengun is really the adjustment that Ime and him made in this game. Really became more of a facilitator, swinging the ball, getting a lot of hockey assists. And that's the role. That happy medium for him is really, to me, where you want him to be for most of the game. And the way I look at it, if you think about how Sabonis plays, what makes him so effective is that he gets off the ball really fast. And with the quick decisions, if you watch the Kings offense, and I think we got them coming up in a few games, it's dribble handoff. As soon as you get the handoff, you make a move, or you're going to, cut to the basket, or you're going to slip the screen and try to go get something for yourself. You get a couple of post-ups here and there, a couple of rolls to get layups, and he just keeps his shooting percentage high doing that. Obviously, we know Sengun is a different beast because he can play that style of Sabonis where he's just a DHO or kick-out merchant, and then late in games, he can ISO and slow when the pace slows down. That's the difference. That's really the line of demarcation between him and the Sabonis model, is that he got the Embiid. And to me, that's really, if you look at his game, it's really a mixture of Sabonis and Embiid, because he can get to the free throw line. He can shoot different shots. His shot diet is very diverse, especially within the paint around the basket. It's not the same thing. So his field goal percentage is not going to be as high as other centers, but he still needs to be much, much better making his interior shots. But hell of a game by him, a big block, just playing a good game. There was a sequence where he got a block on one end, then came down the other end and got I don't know if it was a putback or drew a foul. You can tell Ime trusts him. When he's not on the court, the team's offense craters. Like, that's the only issue I have with the Rockets right now. Our offense is so heavily reliant on him that even our best lineups with Dylan, with Jabari and Tari and the men and the twins out there, they're not generating offense. You heard Craig said that Sengun gets a quick breather. He could barely grab one, because when they're out there, it's a lot of chaos. Like, we just need to figure that out. I think having a good backup at the 5 would really, really help that out. The Jabari at the 5 thing, let me just address that right now. My thoughts on the Jabari at the 5, in theory, it sounds good, but it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us a lot because, one, it impacts our rebounding. It's not as great. Number 2, the issue I have with it is that Jabari doesn't function as a 5. You can say Jabari is at the 5. Let's put Jabari at the 5. But in reality, he doesn't. He plays like a wing. So you have a bunch of wings out there. The reason you need an actual 5 when you put a player that plays at the 5 is twofold. One, on the one end, the player that's playing the 5 has to function like a 5. Jeff Green, if he plays the 5, he plays like a 5. Jeff Green sets good screens. Jeff Green pops out really good. His footwork on his screens and popping out. He slip screens. He rolls to the basket. Jabari does none of that. Jabari just does a lazy flare after each screen. And the second part of the issue is that our guards do not respect his pop. They just ignore it to go hunt their shots. So they use it as a spacer for them to get there. So it's really ineffective offensively and defensively. Rebounding issues. We're not the best perimeter defending team when it comes to one-on-one. We look like it because we've become super elite on defense at helping each other, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But when it comes to straight up ISO, Dylan's getting cooked, Jabari's getting cooked, Fred's getting cooked, Jalen's getting cooked. The best defenders we have on the perimeter is Tari and the men, and they're not in the game all the time. So we need to figure out. We need a backup 5, for real. But Sengun did his thing. Played a lot of minutes. 38 minutes. 38 minutes. I think he played 38 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, in the entire game. So good game from him. Dylan Brooks, big game. Loved how he played, the physicality, the little tussle he had with, I think that was SGA on the jump ball. That is old school basketball. I love the refs. Shout out to the refs for almost trying to take the game away from us. Shout out to Ben Taylor and crew for allowing us to get this win, because they really, really, really were trying to give it to OKC. I mean, you couldn't breathe or sneeze past SGA without it being called a foul, but you could literally smack Sengun in the face, and they're going to say that because there was no follow through. So in theory, if you don't follow through, you could jab a player. I could go up and jab a player with a quick jab to the nose, and it'll be a common foul. But they're going to say because I didn't follow through with the punch that it was a common foul. Crazy stuff. The refs were terrible today, but I'm not a big ref guy, but today that was horrible stuff. But Dylan, 29 minutes, he was in foul trouble, so didn't get to play as much. 54% from the field, 50% from 3. Just a great all-around 16 points, great all-around game. Not the best ISO defender in the world, but he makes you earn it. And I think over time, the body blows, the physicality does wear down on players, especially guys as wiry as SGA is. Like, that stuff does wear you down. You get frustrated, you get mad. Now you're trying to go at him at the end of the game. You start, it breaks you down mentally, and that's really his function. And that's where he's best at, and he brings a different attitude to our team. To me, I mean, Jabari Smith looked like a different animal in this game. 15 points, 14 rebounds. When Jabari is getting double-digit rebounds, I am telling y'all, when he gets double-digit rebounds, the Rockets more likely are going to win. That, to me, his rebounding speaks to his mental state. That's how I define how Jabari's playing. How is he on the glass? If he's on the glass attacking it, he's confident. He's aggressive. That's the type of player that we want. And he's been like that for all these games. Took some bold shots, and I loved it. No hesitation. He's finding his little groove, coming off of screens, getting into his mid-range, getting his leverage on his shots. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm seeing something there. And Ime is trusting and played 40 minutes. Jabari Smith led the team in minutes in this game, a guy that was a few games ago getting benched. So once again, the patience, 40% from the field, 50% from two, only 30. Damn, he only shot 3 for 9. It felt like he was hitting every shot, but the aggression, I like it. Like, to me, when you watch the game, if you box score watch, you're going to say, oh, this guy had a bad game. This guy had a bad game. Just like with the Sengun thing. Oh, he shot this and this. Watch the games, bro. Watch basketball. Don't watch highlights. Just watch basketball. You can see that Jabari had such an impactful game. 14 rebounds is why we were winning these games. Tari Eason and the men both played fairly well. Offensively, not great. They did what they had to do on defense, made it tough for Shea. Both 1 for 5 for Tari from 3, 0 for 2 for Amen. Amen 1 for 3 from the field. Tari 1 of 2. So 24 and 26 minutes. This is the flip side to the Terror Twins, is that there are some games where chaos is not the call for the game, right? Chaos can only get you so far. In the playoffs, you can't thrive off of chaos. You can have moments of chaos, and this is where you kind of understand why it is to be able to have varying styles of play. A team that wants to go small, big, you want to play fast, you want to play slow, you want to play with pace, you want to slow. Some teams are going to force you to play in a box, and that's just how it is, and that's how OKC, they make you play in a box where it comes down to IQ versus IQ, chess match, chess pieces. And in some of those games, guys like Tari Eason and Amen Thompson, if they can't get to certain spots or know when teams are baiting them to take certain shots, they're going to struggle, especially on offense. So growing pains for them in that. But that's why you're glad you have a Fred VanVleet, a Sengun out there, a Dylan Brooks, some of these veteran players that are able to offensively are able to do that. And you love what the growth you're seeing from Jalen and Jabari, who are able to play closing minutes and play, what's the word here? They play complementary basketball. Nobody hijacked any possessions. There was no I'm him moments. There's no hero ball. Let's just get this damn win, bro. So they did that. And then Jalen, let's see, Jalen Green, 9 points. He went 2 for 6 from the field goals, 4 for 6 from free throw, got to the free throw line 3 times. Played a lot of minutes. You know what I mean? He was a +8, second highest plus minus on the team, with Jabari a +10. I think Jalen had a good game to me. He had a good game in respective to the team. If you want to judge him based on expectations as a starting 2 guard, as a guy that is supposed to be our blah, 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 then yeah, he wasn't nothing you write home about. But I contextualize the way I assess his play. He had a good game compared to what he's been. So he had a good game. So to me, Jalen doesn't do anything to hurt or anything to the team as long as he's playing within the context of the team, within the flow of the team. He did not take the most shots. And he didn't really just hunt anything. He kind of just did what he was supposed to do, played the defense coach asked him to play. Brother only took 6 shots, man. I don't like it. I wish he would be more effective, more aggressive. But OKC has so many good perimeter defenders that this is not really the game to just hunt those shots. And we just wanted to win. And you could tell he wanted this win really, really bad. Reed Shepherd was okay. Reed, I think he's figuring it out. He looks like a rookie. I'm not going to lie. Steven Adams gave us 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Shout out to him, giving Sengun a good blow. Pause for while he was, had a chance to get some rest. And at the minimum, we have that option. Last year, we did not. So that's a plus. Last year, we did not, with Londale being hurt and then really nobody else except Uncle Jeff, which I'm surprised he doesn't play more. But overall, great game by Ime. Defensively, what I was going to talk about earlier, the Rockets defense, their ability to switch off ball and help the helper and also rotate to becoming from a help defense to primary assignment. What I mean by that, whenever you see a lot of teams, they like to call these ball screens for their offensive ball handlers. Once those ball screens come, there's chaos that happens on the backside. Especially you think a defense we were running trying to trap SGA at the top of the key. SGA calls for a screen from Hardenstein. Sengun comes up, and then let's say Fred is guarding SGA. Fred and Sengun trap SGA. He kicks it over to Hardenstein, which causes a 4-on-3 situation for OKC. And then whoever, usually the down defender who's guarding the corner, is going to come down and take over that assignment. We are rotating into different assignments where whoever the help defender is, as Sengun gets back to his primary assignment, the help defender comes down. His player is open. Whoever is guarding, like, let's say Jabari's man in a slot or something like that, Jabari or whoever it is, Dylan, is going to peel over to where the help came from. And then that helper that came down to stop Hardenstein initially peels off as Sengun recovers back to a different player. Like, that level of switching and being able to rotate on defense, it is high level stuff. That is the hardest thing to get for a team, defensive chemistry. Not just defensive chemistry, but being able to communicate without actually saying much in the heat of the moment when the bullets are flying, in the heat of battle. And I'm seeing them reach that. The hallmark moment in my life of seeing some of the best switching I've seen in basketball was the 2017-18 Rockets, where the Rockets were doing no-look switches with PJ Tucker and them boys, with Ariza, with Harden and CP3. And when we went the tuck wagon, sometimes it was Luke Mbamute or Eric Gordon, they would switch without looking. Like, they wouldn't even look at the assignment. They already knew where the help was coming from. They were just switching and it forced you into a one-on-one isolation because they switch so good. That level of confidence with your teammates, the level of help, that is elite. And at the end of the day, one thing you're going to say about Ime Udoka's team, the defense is real. The defense is real. This is not fluky. They are real deal. They're going to make you play a certain style of game. And if you don't have the athletes or the shot makers to beat that style of game, then you're going to lose more nights than you're going to win. So that is going to be the hallmark for this team. We are a run-dominant team that wants to run the ball, and you got to be able to stop us. You got to load the box. You got to bring 8 in the box. You're going to leave your one-on-one, your corners one-on-one in single coverage, one single safety high, and then we got, you know what I mean, we don't have Randy Moss on the outside just yet, but wait till this team gets some shooters in. When we get some shooters in, then we're going to leave them corners. And if you know football, you understand the analogy I'm giving you right now, right? We force you to load the box. Shout out Sengun on the post-up, drawing 3, right? We're going to load the box on you. We you know what I mean? We running it. You keep loading the box. You start wanting help. You're going to bring more defenders into the box. And guess what? Once you start doing that, play action, bang, corner shot, 3-pointer, touchdown. That's how the Rockets are going to be. That's how we rolling. Knocked off the number 1 team in the West. And it is just getting started from here. We got the in-season tournament about to pop off. See if we can make it to Vegas. Maybe we can try to win a championship early in the season, which I think is important for young players, young guys to really feel these intense games and high leverage moments. But y'all let me know, man. What was your favorite part about this game? What do you think about the Houston Rockets? What do you think the ceiling for this team is? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that fire.
DJ Candlestick. It's the Chop Not Slap Show.